Welcome back here on FloorHSFootball.com as we get ready for the second weekend of state championships taking place in Fort Lauderdale this coming weekend at DRV PNK Stadium. And one of the coaches is going to be coaching his team in the state championship game in the Class 4M state championship is head coach Dave Dunn from the Columbus Explorers. Coach, appreciate you taking some time here to be able to talk about this. This is a interesting game because it's a rematch of the 2019 game, and y'all won by 1 point there in that state championship game in 8A against Popka in 2019, and here y'all are, back in the state title game. I know 2020 y'all won the Tri-County Gold Championship down there, and then came very close to getting back to the state title game in 8A last year, coming up one game short. But now here y'all are back in the state championship game, and you get a Popka. So first, what is it like right now going, thing? I mean, I know your guys are probably hype and excited, but what is the rest of the Columbus community? Because I know y'all have a great fan base down there, and the students are, they follow football like it's a religion too. So
first of all, Josh, thanks for having me. It's great to obviously be in this game. You can never take it for granted. Like I told our guys after practice today, I said, there's very few teams still practicing in the state of Florida right now. We're lucky to be one of them. And everyone keeps asking how good's a Popka. I'm like, I literally go, really? You got to ask? I go, of course, it's a state championship game. It's a Popka. They're really, really good. So we know we have our work cut out for us. We're excited for the matchup on Saturday night, and we're doing everything we can to get ready for a really good football team.
No, absolutely. Of course, Saturday night, 7 o'clock kickoff for the Class 4M State Championship at DRV PNK Stadium. That is going to be the nightcap. That will finish off the last state championship game of the season. And Coach, I mean, kind of give us a little bit of, over the last few years, this is, you came back in 2019. You're back at Columbus. You're coaching here. 4 years into it, basically with the team and everything, and with that as well, how do you keep the kids motivated, when it's, in this thing, and to try to keep them pushing for these, the goal of, hey, it's state championships where we want to play for that state title. How do you keep them motivated? Because I know that has to be hard when there's a lot of distractions going on around these days, especially with terms like social media and all that.
We're pretty lucky because we were pretty young last year, and I think that those guys, our guys, had a real bad taste in their mouth and how it ended against, Venice. Venice was a better team, but our guys really felt that we had what it takes to get back to the state championship game this year. So that's really kind of been our mantra in the entire offseason when we started rolling again in January in the offseason. So we're lucky. This is a mature team. They're focused, and they've done a great job each and every week of really coming out and playing really good football every Friday night.
No, absolutely, and let's talk about some of the things here for this team. What you've got here, because I know your offense is been really, really strong this year. And of course your defense as well. So let's kind of start there with your offense. I mean, with your passing game. I mean, over 2,400 yards. For your quarterback. Trying to get the thing, Alberto Mendoza's thing right here in front of me, but 2,400 yards, 34 touchdowns. I mean, that's a good healthy number there to come into a state championship game like that. And out of 14 games played, this will be game number 15 to end the season. So, what is it about Mendoza, and his capabilities?
He backed up his brother. His brother's now at Cal, and so I think he learned by watching all of last year. He played a few reps, and his work ethic is phenomenal. It's at a different level probably than any high school quarterback I've ever been around. He just literally is a true football junkie, gym rat, watches film all the time, will meet with me during lunch, meets with me in the morning before school. We'll Zoom on the weekends if it's too late and we can't meet. I think that's helped, and he's really earned the respect of his teammates, through his work ethic. He really knows the offense inside and out, and he can get us in the right situation, or the right play if need be at any point during the game. And it's rare that you have a young quarterback. He's only a junior that really has that high of a football IQ.
No, absolutely, coach. And looking at this, he's got several great receivers that he can choose from out on the field. So what makes the receiving core so great for y'all, considering that hey, that's something that defenses have been able to have a hard time containing. On the other side, when your opponents, that you've only lost one game this year, and that was the Miami Central in a close battle. So, what is it about y'all's receiving core that makes it so great for Mendoza to be able to throw to?
They that's the one thing I think probably over the other teams we've had since I've been back is that we have more depth at receiver. We're putting four quality guys out there all the time. When you include our tight end Ben Blackburn, who's Benji's good 6'5", 240, and also only a junior. I just think when you can spread the ball amongst 4 or 5 skill guys in the pass game, it makes it tough to defend. Between Jose Leon, Dariel Harper, Fadrell Andrus, AJ Ariano, and Ben Blackburn, those guys are, they're pretty balanced in the amount of catches they have. And then, out of the backfield, we have Seth Irvin, who's caught a good number of passes, and Tremonte Underwood. It's just more balanced than we've had in recent years.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned Seth Irvin. I mean, he's your leading rusher, 1,050 yards coming into this game, 10 touchdowns. So what is it? What makes that Seth special? Because I know when, hey, you want to kind of find a balance out there. You test the team out, that you're playing against. And I know that's going to be the same thing come Saturday night. So what is it about Seth that makes him special?
Seth, we've almost kind of held him back a little bit just because Tremonte, who's our backup, had a hamstring issue for a few weeks there, so we were really limiting his carries in games. So, we had a few games this year that we, just kind of were lopsided wins, so he didn't touch the ball a whole lot in those games, maybe 5 or 6 carries and 1 or 2 catches. But he played phenomenal football in the Ocoee semifinal. He had right about 200 yards rushing and over 40 yards receiving. So that's the type of output we're going to hopefully get from him on Saturday night against Apopka. It'd really help us out a lot if he could do that.
No, absolutely. And of course, Coach, let's talk about defense, because defense does win championships, as we all know. And I know that was a big thing, especially in 2019 in that 8A title game against Apopka. So, I mean, that was a big key thing. Is defense is everything. So, I mean, what is it about your defense this year that really has shined for y'all? Because I know you said y'all were younger last year, but y'all grown and matured this year. And, to only have 1 loss on the season, that speaks volumes of where y'all come from night and day, compared to 4 losses last year in 2021. So, I mean, what is it about your defense that stands out here?
I think with us, it starts up front. We have pretty stout defensive line. Dalen Russell, Derek Hart, Rudy Sori, and Dylan Stevenson, those 4 guys up front have played really good football for us. And if you can control the other team's offensive line and put some pressure on the quarterback, just makes the game that much harder. We have Hector Chavez at linebacker, has really been, I wouldn't say a surprise for us because we knew what he was capable of. He had an injury earlier in the year with a shoulder, so he missed a few games, but has really played great football, especially in the playoffs. I mean, he single-handedly, controlled the Palmetto game on the defensive side of the ball. And then we have Amir Foster at free safety. Amir actually started in the first Apopka game. So I think Apopka's got one of their defenders started as a freshman, and we have a guy started as a freshman. Besides that, it's a bunch of new guys. But, Amir knows what it's like to play Apopka and knows how physical and tough they are. And he's kind of conveyed that message to the rest of our team, and especially our front 4 guys, like I mentioned earlier. I think they're going to be ready.
Absolutely. And Coach, I mean, looking at it, your team defense at 36 sacks this year so far. So, I mean, I know that you're going to be hoping I fear you guys will collect up a couple more against Apopka. But, when we talk about Apopka, this is, again, I mentioned it several times already, that 2019 game that was down to the wire. I mean, what is it going to take to beat Apopka? Because we all know, everybody knows around the state, Apopka runs that single wing. They're still running that single wing all these years. So what do you have to do to be able to, what do y'all have to do to be able to try to contain Apopka? Because we know that, that's one thing that they run well is that single wing, but they got a defense that's been stopped. This is how they got here. Yeah. So, how do you try to battle against that? The fact that, hey, they're looking for revenge from that game a few years ago, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know if this is big of a revenge deal. I mean, it was 4 years ago. I just look at it this way. I take it year to year, and when you turn on the film, they're a very physical, well-coached football team. They don't beat themselves. They play really good special teams. They can run the football and stop the run. It's going to be a great challenge. They do a phenomenal job up in Apopka. It's a great football culture. I've gone up there from games before when I was a college coach. So it's going to be a heck of a football game. I feel we have a pretty good, strong culture down here in Columbus, and they have a strong culture up there at Apopka. It's going to be a heck of a football game.
And of course, that you said that a heck of a football game, and of course, at the end of the day, for y'all, I mean, what is the plan for the rest of the week for y'all? Kind of, sort of, just for the team, you just kind of get ready and be able to come up to the stadium Saturday evening, or are you going to kind of try to catch out one of the other games between Thursday and Friday, just to give the kids a little bit of an experience?
It's not too far for us, so our guys, I'm sure, will head up to some of the games. Everybody wants to see, a lot of our guys live in the southern part of Miami, close to Homestead. So, a lot of our players have friends on the Homestead team. So I'm sure they'll want to go up and watch Homestead versus St. Thomas Aquinas. And obviously everybody in the state is excited about the Miami Central American Heritage, matchup. One of our former coaches last year is on the Heritage staff this year. And obviously we played Central. So, that's a matchup I think everybody in the state of Florida and even probably the country are going to have it be tuned into.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and of course, your game is just as big as all of them as well. And Coach, again, y'all be playing in the Class 4M State Championship, 7:00 Saturday night at Drive Pink Stadium. We'll be there. We're looking forward to it, and best of luck to the Explorers here and going for another state championship.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you having me.
Appreciate it, Coach. That was head coach Dave Dunn of the Columbus Explorers joining us here, and we appreciate everybody tuning in for our videos, our previews coming up here as we get ready for Fort Lauderdale State Championships this week down at Drive Pink Stadium. So appreciate everybody, and we'll see you more here on FloridaHSFootball.com.